Hello everybody, I want to talk about some of these, wait, did I screw up? Oh, I did. I want to talk about some settings in Vim, some spell check settings. I'm going back through my old videos. I use them for reference sometimes because I have a terrible memory, and I've noticed their quality is quite poor. So I'm going to either redo them or do better versions of them, and this is a part in my Vim series, I guess I can call it, about spell check. Because spell check is great and everyone should use it, and I'm going to show you how without installing any plugins, because everyone on the internet, if you go and Google Vim spell check, they'll sell you a spell check, and that spell check sucks. So we're just going to do our own. Let's say I have this sentence. This is a very good sentence. Let's say I have this sentence. This is a very God sentence. So if I have these two sentences, you can tell by the way I've saved the file that nothing looks different between them, except of course for the vowels that are missing that I removed. However, if I go into my Vim RC, I can add this very unique feature. Let me make this, can I make this bigger? Yes, I can add this very awesome feature, which is set spell, and then I do spell lang, which is 3 L's because it's spell and lang, not separated by a space or underscore, equals in the UTF language of the library, or I guess dictionary, I want to utilize. So I'm going to do English US because that's the UTF setting I want to utilize. You can make this whatever UTF setting is available to you. You can check that. That's outside the scope of this video, but you can check that in multiple ways. So let's look at that file again we just created. And now we see 3 things highlighted in red and white, right? God is not, and that's obviously something we can talk about, which we will in a moment, that not being corrected. But you can see this and very and sentence were obviously corrected. So I'm going to show you first how to deal with this in a file, and then I'm going to show you how to kind of adjust these colors to your own liking. Actually, let me give you a spoiler already. I'm sitting here thinking about how I'm going to spoil this, the God thing. It's just, you can't deal with that. If the word's in the dictionary and it doesn't come up incorrectly, you have to just reread your work to figure that out. So I'll just go ahead and correct this now because, oops, there's not going to be something I can do with Vim to fix that. Either way, I'm up here. You can see I'm at the very front of the line 7. I will even highlight it to make sure everyone knows. So I'm on line 7. This is a very good sentence. If I hit back bracket, it looks like this. Let me go ahead and that symbol, if I hit that symbol I just echoed, and then S, it seeks to the next misspelling. So you see I'm on THS, hit it again, VRY, then again, SNTNCE. Let's do it one more time to loop back. Okay, so we're back at THS. That's how you search for misspellings in a file in Vim, whenever spell is enabled. If I want to change it, I can do Z equals, which brings up a list of suggestions. These suggestions, you will find that in 95% of the cases, number 1 is correct. So I'm going to hit enter 1, enter again. It changed THS to this. However, because this is so common, you can normally hit just 1 Z equals. So here I am on VRY, 1 Z equals, and it auto-corrects it for you because, I mean, I could hit 2 Z equals and get the second one, but that's not likely to be the answer to my solution. The Vim spell check is quite good. It's been tempered by programmers who are horrific misspellers, so it's somewhat good. There are situations like the one I came across with good and God where you just can't fix it. Vim is not sophisticated enough, its spell check is not sophisticated enough to present to you where you're using a word you shouldn't be using if it's spelled correctly. However, it is sophisticated enough to do something like this. Now what's happening there? Well, you can't see it because the coloring is horrific, but what it's saying to me is the word metalhead. What it's saying to me there is that it's incorrect. But you notice it's not misspelled, like if I misspell, let's misspell some random word. So these are two different things. Now why are they different? It's because under the spell check feature in Vim, not a plugin, again, they are different things, right? Very different. Now, because this one is so horrific to read, you might wager that my next move is going to be to adjust my Vim RC to fix the way these look, which I will do. So in your main Vim RC or your main Vim conf, it's probably an Etsy Vim RC or Etsy/Vim/Vim RC or something like that. All these things are defined, but on a user level, you can redefine them by clearing them first. So I'm going to do highlight, which is HI, that's the shortcut for highlight. Spell bad, which is the red and white we saw earlier. I'm going to do highlight clear, spell bad, which is the red and white we saw earlier. And then I'm going to do highlight spell bad C-term BG. Oh god. Equals, let's just do dark gray, and then C term FG equals black. So when we do that, you see at the very end, the ASDF, which is an obvious misspelling of something. Actually, let's see. I don't even know what that would equal. What does it think it equals? Oh, there's literally no suggestion. Okay. Oh, there. Acid, and okay, well, it's none of those, so let's get out of here. Anyway, so I've changed the background of that to gray and black, as you can see there, but this still is not changed, and that's because this is not a misspelling. This is something else that spell check is identifying. So what could it be? Let's figure that out. Well, it turns out spell check spell, I should say, this feature here, spell in Vim, that has 4 different features, you would call it, or things it calls out that you can identify. And one of them is spell bad, which of course is a misspelling, but the other ones are spell cap, which would be for things that are capitalized incorrectly, spell local, which is that's something that it checks outside of the language or the dictionary you've identified to see if it's also in the first part, so EN, but not the second part. So for example, something in English, United States English, that is not the same in British English. Those are 2 places that speak English, if you don't know. And then there is, of course, spell rare, which I don't even know what that checks. I don't have a clue what that checks, but I know it's helped me in the past. So let's identify what's going on here, because here, I've already cleared it, so now it's not showing up anymore. So one of these things that we adjust is going to re-highlight metalhead, which is this is a very American phrase. I think maybe the British use it as well, so maybe it's not fair. But let's try that first. Let's try local and see if that actually is the culprit here. There we go, it is. So if you were paying attention, if you were watching the screen, what I did was I added to the the spell local attribute in Vim was to underline in a terminal where a word that does not meet the local requirements appears, and you can now see metalhead went from being ununderlined to underlined. Now, this is interesting because now you're able to see we can adjust very specifically what rules do to certain words based on the rule they violate, whether that be spell bad, which is of course just a bad spelling, spell cap, miscapitalization, spell rare, or spell local. We can adjust this to there's a number of, you can find these online. I don't know if it's inside the scope of this video to try to address them, but there are several different features that you can update. So I'm just doing here, you'll see, I'm changing just to highlight how different they can be, the foreground and background of these settings. And so you see there, it adjusts those in that way. You can change these to whatever you want, of course. They don't have to be this. They can be as simple as this. They can actually be just underlined, or I think they can even be italics. Let's try that actually. C term, is it italics or is it maybe it might be emphasized? Oh, italic is what it is. And there you see a word that is spelled incorrectly from the local region is italicized. These are all things you can add into Vim, and they don't require a plugin, and they're very useful. And I've realized now that's all I have to say. Thank you.